30 seconds used. One minute used. One minute 30.
JFK is known for telling his country, it's not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And what he means by this is that sometimes we have to be strong and we have to be tough. And this leads to my quotation, if you're going to eat steak, get some sharper teeth from Groundhog Steak. And my interpretation of this quotation is sometimes you got to be tough. And I agree with this quotation. And my 3 examples is going to be a former president and 2 fictional characters in 2 separate TV shows. So let's begin talking about George Bush. George Bush, during 2001, the Twin Towers was hit. And he went and faced the nation and telling the nation that we need to be tough and we need to be strong to fight against the acts of terrorism and fight against those who are against our freedoms and against our religion. And so he made this plea to his country and he sent in troops so we can defend ourselves and protect our freedoms and our livelihood. And this leads back in my interpretation that sometimes you got to be tough. Because during this time we was at peace and we was not looking for any trouble, but trouble found us. And we had to stand tall and be strong and persevere. My next example is Lizzie Gray. Lizzie Gray is the younger sister of Meredith Grey on a TV show Grey's Anatomy. Lizzie Gray was always known as being mousy, very quiet, very passive. But one day she discovered that she loved someone, and she didn't quite know how to go after it. And someone told her, if you love him, you need to be tough. You need to go after that person. And so she found the courage and found the strength to profess her love to this person, and it turned out he felt the same way. And this leads back into my interpretation that sometimes you got to be tough. That sometimes you have to stand up for what you want because you never know what promises you may get back in return. My last example is also a fictional character named Leonard Hofstadter from the TV show The Big Bang Theory. Leonard has always been pushed around by his roommate Sheldon Cooper. And in this recent episode, he wanted to get a table for the apartment so all the friends can sit around. And though he was thinking in his head, oh, Sheldon is not going to like this, Sheldon is not going to like that, his girlfriend Penny encouraged him, you need to stand up for yourself and be strong. This is part of your apartment too. And with those encouraging words, he did stand up to Sheldon and he did buy the table. And this leads back to my interpretation is sometimes you got to be tough. Because you can't always be pushed around by your friends regardless how much you've known them. So today, we talked about George Bush, how he moved a nation with his words so we can be tough to fight against the terrorism that hit our country. We also talked about Lizzie Gray and how that she loved someone so much that she was so afraid, but someone encouraged her to be tough and stand strong and confess her love. And once she confessed her love, she realized that that person loved her too, and they became a great couple. And then we also talked about Leonard Hofstadter, who for 7 years lived with Sheldon and always followed Sheldon's lead even if he didn't want to. But he finally had enough courage to stand up against Sheldon. And so then him and his girlfriend was able to buy a table for all the friends to enjoy so that Raj, the Indian guy didn't have to sit on the floor anymore. So we talked about, so that leads to my interpretation that my quotation is, if you're going to eat steak, you're going to have some sharper teeth from Groundhog's Day. And my interpretation is sometimes you have to be tough. And I agree with this interpretation. John F. Kennedy asked the country exactly what can it do for them. And it moved the nation to be stronger and to be tougher. So sometimes it is okay to be strong and to be tough. There's times where we can be meek, but there are times that we can be strong. And sometimes when that moment comes, feel free to be strong, because it will be a benefit to you, to your family, and possibly to your nation.